Are Chelsea for real with this title chase?
I think the easy answer has to be yes. There's a lot of skepticism given the last few years for Chelsea. We all, the controversy, the different managers, the 40 players, and all this other stuff. But there seems to be, Enzo Maresca has the players that he likes, and not only that, they're playing. I think the inclusion of just getting Jadon Sancho. There's a certain confidence.
Yeah.
To have Cole Palmer on your team and Jadon Sancho.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. And Nico Jackson scoring. It's a lot. You got a lot.
The confidence of the Sully and everything.
The swag, the cold. I love it.
And I think it's doing something really, really positive for this team.
I agree. I think the only reason where I would say maybe they're not a full-blown title contender, which I do believe they are, by the way, is that they're also extremely young. And sometimes, and I know this as an Arsenal fan, as you get close to the end of the season, it becomes crunch time. Young players do sometimes make mistakes. They don't have the experience. So there's a chance that I could see Chelsea maybe slipping here and there. It's also early to call anyone out of the title race that are in the top 5, but it's also too early to call anyone in the title race, maybe outside of Liverpool.
Okay.
Everyone else is fighting for a spot. So I can see Liverpool capitulating in those tight, post-Christmas matches. I can see Chelsea capitulating. I can see Arsenal further capitulating. I can see City not getting out of the slump. Any of these things can happen. But if we're going to talk about it's a blank horse race, it's a 3-horse race without Chelsea. I think you have to say it's a 4-horse race. I think you can't count out City at any point because City have won it so many times. You can't count out Arsenal because they've been a part of the conversation for the last 2 years, 2 previous seasons. And you obviously can't count out Liverpool. And you cannot count out Chelsea. They are playing extremely well. They're fun to watch. If you're a fan of Chelsea, they're doing beautiful things that you didn't expect them to do the previous season. They're playing well. They're listening to their manager. They're gutting it out. They're finding ways to stand tall defensively in the moments they need to. They're doing everything you can ask of them.
And but yeah, you mentioned Nico Jackson's scoring goals, and that seems to be, I think, one of the biggest differences because we're just used to him getting great chances and not scoring goals.
Yeah.
And
look, days are over.
Yeah, and then look, even you look at João Felix came into this game late into the game, and I'm like, he's coming off the bench. I'm like, João Felix he's just coming off the bench.
Yeah,
is that what we're doing?
That's how much talent you have back then. And that's another thing. He gets players to be influential off the bench.
Yeah. And it says a lot about a player like João Felix, who is not here at Chelsea to come off the bench. He could easily have a bigger ego and be like, nah,
I want to go somewhere where I start. Yeah.
Right. And so I think it says something about not only just the quality of the players right now and how well they're playing, but there is a bit of a belief. I mean, it feels a little bit of the island of misfit toys and everybody is like an outcast. Cole Palmer's seeming like kind of an outcast at Man City. Jadon Sancho with all the drama. Nico Jackson, the criticism he kind of deals with. Cucurella as well, with people doubting it.
Yeah, I mean, of course.
It adds to it.
Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez, the list goes on and on.
It's always like we all doubted you and blah blah blah.
Everybody got a chip on their shoulder.
Yeah, everybody seems like they have something to prove. Can they get the consistency is going to be the important thing. Can they get to it? Can they win a title and go through those really, really difficult moments? And I think the game against Tottenham, going down 2 goals, you could have easily
away from home.
You could have easily been like, oh man,
big rival. Everyone talks about the Arsenal-Tottenham rivalry. Chelsea have just as big a rivalry with Tottenham.
Sure. But just can they that? Just going through that game and being down 2 and then end up winning 4-3. I think it builds character. Those moments and again, like Chelsea, are they're not the team of the Lampard, Drogba era team.
No,
they play completely differently and everything, but they've sort of adapted to what the Premier League looks like right now.
Yeah, they are a good example of a modern Premier League team for sure.
Yeah.
Young, fast, dynamic.
Yeah.
The only thing I will say is Enzo Maresca was asked about this about 2 weeks ago now, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And he said they're not title contenders right now.
Oh,
let's just focus on
the
game to game.
Yeah.
which I think is genius because you're lowering expectations. Let's focus on game to game. Stop thinking y'all are going to win this title because y'all haven't proven to me you're good enough to win this title. And that says a lot for where this project is headed, where I feel like in the past, or certainly in the last few seasons, you might not hear such strong rhetoric. You might not. I don't think Enzo Maresca's made a misstep yet.
Yeah, and to add to that point, and you notice that they're not really being talked about as far as title contenders because
they're like, good, keep doubting us.
Well,
smart.
It's not even about doubt. It is the way whenever they have a poor result or a draw or they drop points or whatever, nobody's like, oh, Chelsea dropped points.
No,
nobody's even talking about that. They're like, oh yeah, that's. It was 2-2 or 1-1.
Yeah.
Like
and they were flying high before.
Yeah. And it's always when Arsenal or Man City drop points.
All hell breaks loose.
That is always the story. Same thing with Liverpool.
Enzo ain't scratching his face. You know what I mean?
Okay. So shout out to everybody watching on OneFootball. We always appreciate it. We are the Cooligans. If you like more of these guys, go and subscribe to the Cooligans on the link is in the description. Go support there. We have a bunch of fun content there too. And yeah, we'll see you over there. So shout out to everybody watching on OneFootball, everybody.
Hit that subscribe button.